Hi there, students. To constrain, a constraint. Constrained as an adjective. Okay, a constraint is something that limits you. It limits the scope of what you can do. A constraint is something to keep you within limits, to constrain, to control, or to limit something. So my life is always subject to financial constraints. Yeah? If we didn't have financial constraints, then we could do anything we wanted. Yeah? Um, you want me to tell you exactly what I think about this? Well, I will try to keep within the constraints of politeness when giving my opinion. Okay, so to constrain, to restrict the scope of something, to restrict the extent, to curb, to limit, to restrict. Now, you can also use this verb to constrain, meaning to force someone to follow a particular course of action. So the teacher is constrained to teach the syllabus that the Board of Education dictates. Okay, it's forced, it's impelled. The teacher is obliged to do it. Okay, so to constrain, to restrict to using a certain path. Okay, so my free time is constrained by my inflexible working hours. He is constrained to doing it in the way that the company says it must be done. He can't do it in his own way. So, okay, if you limit the supply, you constrain the supply of something. So I guess you could say that OPEC, the oil producers, when they want to increase the price of oil, they constrain the supply of oil. Yeah. Maybe if you increase taxes, you constrain the demand within a market. The growth of the company was constrained by lack of funds. Okay, so to constrain, to keep something within limits, to confine within limits, or to inhibit, to hold back. She had a rather constrained look on her face. Let me try a better one than that. He was very constrained in the conversation, and I knew that there was something wrong with him. He was holding back. I feel constrained to object to this. I feel compelled by moral circumstances or by circumstantial forces. So I feel constrained to complain about this matter. I feel that I must act within reasonable moral limits, and I must complain about it. Okay, so to constrain, a constraint. Okay, so to constrain, to confine, to limit, to throttle, to restrain, to restrict. And then constraints, restrictions, limitations, to rein something in, something that checks it. Okay, so yeah, if you are ill, you are going to be limited by physical constraints. You can only do what is within your scope, within your range. Yeah, you are constrained by the scope of your job description, for example. Okay, so to constrain, let's see, you can to constrain somebody, to force somebody physically to do something. You can even use it like this. I guess the police constrained the prisoner they compelled him to do what they said. So to constrain somebody to do something, to compel them to do something by putting limits that there is only one direction to go in. To be constrained by something, to reduce what you can do due to limited resources. Um, Okay, so a constraint, a restriction. I'm subject to constraints. He's constrained by his moral principles. Yeah, he's compelled to act within them. That is how he feels morally about it. Okay, so to constrain. Formality. I think I'm going to give it a 6 in formality. I think informally I might say a limit, or to limit, um, to force somebody to do something. I feel constrained to do this. So I think probably best in a semi-formal conversation, semi-formal writing. You could use it in a very formal writing as well. And then as to origin, it comes from Latin, from constringo, con together or with, and stringo to bind or to tie tightly. So yeah, if you're constrained, you are with ropes around you. There are only certain things that you can do. Okay, so to constrain, a constraint. If you enjoyed the video, give it a rating, subscribe to my channel, and I will see you soon. Bye for now. To constrain, a constraint.